But when you're actually looking through them yourself, you can actually, you get a bit wobbly and it's really hard. But you just said if you've got a tripod, you can get a connection, which makes it a lot easier for you to actually see with the binoculars. So you can get a connection for about $25. I'm going to get one of those, but I want a telescope. But you said they're pretty hard to carry around. How good of a telescope would you need, which was reasonably portable that you could carry around?
Oh, it's like how long's a piece of string?
Oh,
It really depends on what you want to do, where you are, how tech savvy you are, how much you want to spend.
right. Okay. And I mean,
Everybody's very different. But even like we were talking about binoculars.
yeah,
So tomorrow night, the 9th, right?
yes,
Remember we talked about the crescent moon?
yes.
So it's going to be a very fine crescent moon after sunset. If you've got a western horizon, you can take it out and you can have a look at little things like the crescent moon before the sun goes, before it disappears and things like that. There's lots to see and do with binoculars that you can't, because I suggest to people that when they want to buy their kids a telescope, I say, well, buy a pair of binoculars first, because one, if they're not really interested, you can use binoculars for lots of things, go out whale watching or whatever, or you can go out, you can look at the stars and the moon with them.
Mm,
And there's lots of fuzzy things. We talked about Orion before, the handle
that's
of the
right.
saucepan.
Yep.
If you look at
His
each of the three,
sword.
the sword, if you look at each of the stars in the sword with binoculars, you'll still see stuff. If you go out in the early morning sky like you do at the moment, right, you can see Jupiter in the morning
Okay.
sky.
Okay. How do you know it's Jupiter?
Well, I'm sorry, in the night sky you can see Jupiter. I'm lying. In the night sky you can see Jupiter. Just sorry, in the morning, Jupiter's not in the morning sky yet. Venus, it will be next month. I've been working on next month's stuff at the moment. So Venus, Mars, and Saturn are all in the morning sky. Jupiter's still in the night sky after dark. So if you go out tomorrow after dark and you see the very fine crescent moon, and up above that is Jupiter. And for our friends in the northern hemisphere, that's where the comet is to the left and above the crescent moon, to the right and below of Jupiter.
Wow. Okay. You have to send me some.
Yeah, I'll send you some maps of all that stuff. But I'm just saying these are the things where the binoculars come in really handy because they're so much more portable.
Yeah, they are.
So you need a minimum of 10 by 50,
right?
really,
Mm-hmm.
because you want to get the magnification. But yeah, the bigger the number at the end you can get, the better.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then they start to get a bit heavy and difficult to hold.
And
But
that's
most
where the
people have got a pair
tripod.
of 10 by 50s. That's where the
Yeah.
tripod comes in
That's where the
because it
tripod.
keeps it nicely steady.
Yeah.
There's a really cool app that you can get on your phone or on your computer, and it's
Right.
free on Android and free on your computer, but you've got to pay for it on Apple, unfortunately, and it's called Stellarium.
Stellarium.
And you can basically set it to where you live, set the program to where you live,
Mm. Okay.
and it will be at the time. You can then watch at night time, and it will show you what's in the sky at any given time. And you can even go back 10,000 years in the past, or 20,000 years in the past, or 20,000 years in the future to see how things change. Because we talk a lot about the fact that there's a pole star at the moment in the northern hemisphere, and we don't have one. But in 12,000 years, Vega will be the pole star, and we will finally have a star. We will finally have a pole star down in the southern hemisphere. So this little program is really well worth investing in for nothing on your computer. I use it all the time, and you can also put Star Law up on it. Remember, I was down at Condobolin on the weekend for
Yes.
the Wiradjuri Skyfest, and so we're talking it was a mixture of it was the whole community of Condobolin, but it was predominantly a large number of the Wiradjuri people whose lands it is, and the sky was all cloudy, so we couldn't do the night sky outside. So we used Stellarium to show the Indigenous constellations using the program, what they would have seen if they were actually outside that night. And you can dial in for Inuit people of, Inuit people from the Arctic Circle, different American Indian tribes, different South American groups, African groups, all the good old-fashioned Western ones that we all know and love. Can
Right.
put in the artwork. You can see whatever's happening in the sky. So it's definitely something worth having. So that if you want to know what something is in the sky, you can look it up on that. There are other apps you can buy, depending on what brand of phone you have, that you can hold up and it'll tell you what you're looking at as long as you've set it up. You've got your GPS working on it, so it's working. It can tell you what's there. So there's lots of ways to make life a lot easier these days. So a pair of binoculars and an app on your phone, and put the app into night mode so you've got red light so you don't wreck your eyes.
Mhm.
It's going to be a good start for you
Oh,
while you work out a telescope thing, particularly with the trees around your place.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And there are lots of them. So yeah, but
And
it's
you can take a pair of binoculars and a tripod anywhere, down to where you walk and those pictures you post on Facebook of your walks of a morning.
yeah. I could take it down to the beach and sit there and watch
Yeah, you
this.
could see the phases. You could watch Venus
Yeah, yeah, because
in
it's
the
a big
eastern sky
open,
before the sunrise.
a big
Yeah,
open space. It'd be fabulous.
yeah. There's
I
lots
can,
you're going to be able to see and do.
I can do that.
There's your challenge for the month.
Oh, my challenge. Okay, so I have to
There's the
take.
challenge. So tomorrow, you're going to go out. Tomorrow night, you're going to go out and see if you can see the very thin crescent moon.
Okay, I'll have to go down to the beach to do that so that I've got a clear sky so that I can see it.
Yep.
And take my
But you've got
binoculars
to have
down.
west. You've got to be
West.
looking
Yep.
west, not east.
Yep. Okay. I can do
Okay.
that.
See if you can pick the very thin crescent moon before it sets.
Would you be able to get a photo of it? Would your phone be strong enough to get a photo of it?
Yeah, and again, if you've got the tripod, if you've got your binoculars on a tripod, you can take photos through your binoculars, through one half of the binoculars.
Oh,
We'll get you turned into doing all sorts of stuff yet, Faye. But yes, you should be able to get a photo of the crescent moon.
okay. All right.
Particularly if you get it just on twilight when the sky is not so blue.
Well, you'll just have to come down this way so we can do some fun things and record it all. That
We will
would be
have
fun.
some fun.
We could have lots of fun doing that. And tell us more. What else is happening in the night sky or the dark sky in April? And then we'll move on to the other months. What other things? I'm quite fascinated with the iron pot. And you're looking
Well,
at
you call it
the
an iron pot. Other people call it a saucepan.
oh,
Yeah,
saucepan,
but
whatever.
it's Orion the Hunter. Or in other things, it's the in other it's in Gilroy where I live.
Yeah.
It's Bayami, the creator. Now he's tripping over. Some say he tripped over a log when he was throwing a spear. Others say his wives tripped him up because he was chasing the Seven Sisters. Because the Seven Sisters are in that same part of the sky.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm quite fascinated. I'm going to have a look at the what I call the iron pot or the saucepan or whatever you want to call it, and look at the handle and see the sword, and then look at the bottom of the pot and see his belt, and then look down below and see what I can see. It's quite fascinating, isn't
Yeah.
it, when you know what to look for?
Okay, so on Wednesday night, right,
Yes.
the crescent moon will be a bit brighter, but it'll be close to Jupiter. So you can get Jupiter and the crescent moon together in your photo.
Oh, Wednesday night.
Yep. And then Thursday night, remember we talked about the Seven Sisters, the Pleiades, or also known as Subaru?
Yeah.
The crescent moon will actually be in the Pleiades, so you'll be able to find them.
Oh, the Seven Sisters or the Six Sisters.
Yeah.
There's one missing.
The Six Sisters.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, we refer to it as the Seven Sisters. I'm just writing this down so I don't forget. So that's on Thursday. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So
What else?
there's your homework for this
Oh,
week.
thanks. Just what I needed was some homework. Thanks, Donna.
Of course you did. You needed some homework, yes.
Tell us what else, because I'm sure there are a lot of other people out there that are quite fascinated by all of this, and they really don't understand what they're looking at or why, why they need to look up into the night sky and what they're actually missing, because there's so much we miss when we don't look up.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to tell you something.
What?
I'm going to be watching live streams of the eclipse because, this comet I've been talking about, there's a
Yes.
possibility of a once in a lifetime, a once in recorded history, that during the totality, which goes from about 2 minutes, 18 seconds to nearly 4 minutes, depending where you are in America, that you may be able to see the comet in the sky.
Okay, so a
See,
live stream.
when the sky goes dark, you can often see streams. You can often see stars and the planets and everything.
Right.
There is a possibility that the comet may be visible. And everyone who knows anything about the whole, the more serious eclipses and comet traces, are really keen to see this. So NASA's doing a live stream. You just go search on the internet. It'll be the early hours of this morning, but just search on the internet for live stream solar eclipse 2024, and you'll find lots of links. The NASA one's good. They're all good. Yeah, there's heaps of good ones.
Okay. Oh, that'll be
So
fantastic.
when you're looking at the moon, right?
Yeah.
And it's only small, right?
Yeah.
And you know how you can see that really bright part of it, because that's where the sun's shining on it. So the sun's shining on the other side of it as well, the crescent bit. And if you actually, so say you can, obviously no one can see me, but I'm holding my fingers the way the moon is.
They can. We're on Facebook.
Oh, okay. The sun's lighting up from that direction. So that tells you where west is as well.
Right.
So that'll help you find west. But also, you can see the rest of the moon very, very faintly.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's called earth shine.
Earth
Did you know
sign.
that?
No.
Earth shine. Earth shine.
Earth shine.
Yeah.
Why do they call it that?
Is because it's reflecting the light from the earth. So that glow on the unlit side of the moon is reflected light from the earth on the moon.
And that reflected light, would that be artificial light or would it be natural light?
Well, it's reflected light from us from the sun.
Right. Okay.
So the sun's shining on us, and it's reflecting on there.
Right.
Yeah. So I just thought that was a bit of interest since we're talking about the moon.
I love the moon. I think the moon's good.
I know you do. Yeah. Yeah. So really, the nights of the 9th and 10th are going to be interesting in the night sky because of the fact that it's a crescent moon. It's going to be near Jupiter, so it'll be easy to find Jupiter, and it'll be on the 10th in the Pleiades, so it'll be easy to find the Pleiades. So now when you're out walking in the mornings, Mars and Saturn are going to be close to each other in the morning sky. So they're going to be basically the width of your little finger or the full moon away between each other. And obviously Mars is the red one, and the red one of the two because it's Mars. And the other one is more yellowy, and they don't twinkle. That's how you know that they're planets. Yeah.
They don't twinkle.
Having said that, they're going to be together. Yeah. So Mars reddish and yellow, and Saturn's yellow in the morning sky.
Okay. I'll get to see those.
You'll be able to find those. Yes, you'll see those. Now they're not actually really close together because Saturn's over 1.1 billion kilometers away from Mars.
1.1 billion kilometers. Oh, just a short distance. But they look close together.
But they look close in the sky. And that's the tricky thing about the sky. You see things in the sky and they can be billions and billions or trillions of kilometers apart from each other, but they just look close. Like the stars in the Southern Cross are between 400 and 4,500 light years distance from us, but we just see them looking like that from our perspective. And so that sort of like helps you put in perspective the distances that are out there, with all the stuff coming from James Webb and some big announcements at a conference this weekend that'll be making mainstream media soon. a whole view of the age of the universe and the makeup of the universe is about to change. It really is. The next 25 years is going to see such significant advances in astronomy and how we see things and laws of physics and stuff that it's going to be unbelievable. Young people who are right on the, at that age where they're deciding what to do and they want to get into astronomy or space science or engineering to do with space science, this is the ideal time because these next 25 years, we're going to be in a new golden age. We are going to go to Mars. We are going to go back to well, not you and me, we're too old, darling. But, we as
Thanks.
humankind, I was going to say, we as humankind, to be politically correct, are going to go outside, are going to go to the moon. We are going to go to Mars. They will set a colony on the moon to send things to Mars because it's easier to send things off the moon than it is off Earth because of gravity and stuff. They're planning a mission to go and pick up some rock cores that Perseverance has been collecting on Mars, and bring them back to Earth for analysis.
Be quite
Everybody's
interesting.
getting in on it. Yeah, everybody's getting in on Mars and everything else. But when you're looking at the things in the sky, it's just incredible. We will one day have people on Mars.
I I can imagine. I can imagine that because I mean, there are so many people interested in. I mean, we didn't think we could go to the moon, but that was proven wrong. We can go to the moon. So we can go basically anywhere if we want to, but we have to plan it and maybe if it's so many thousands of light years away, how long does it actually take someone to get to Mars?
Well, it takes about 6 months because the missions are planned. They can't go anytime. There's only a window that they can go in. So you want to plan it so that when you're at the closest, so Earth and the Mars, right? They can either be on one side of the sun or the other, which you wouldn't want to go. That's about 2.5 years. So when they're both on the same side of the sun, so that by the time you're getting there, you're at your closest distance. So it's just a little bit of trigonometry or geometry to do the calculations. But that's why you see a whole stack of missions going to Mars at the same time. 2021 was very busy at Mars. The UAE Hope orbiter went around Mars. It left for Mars. China sent a rover and orbiter, and US sent Perseverance and Integrity, the little drone. They all got to Mars in 2021 and landed. Integrity did 73 flights, I think, when it was only supposed to do 3 or 5. And it crashed in January this year. The little
To and
drone that's
from.
on Mars.
Right. Okay.
So you can only go to Mars sort of in these little brackets of time. So that's why you hear them talking about 2030 or 2036, because of the orbits. And again, the orbits are elliptical, so we're not always the same distance apart. So you want to go when you've got the least time. But of course, there's other things that have to be taken into account. We've got to deal with space debris. You've ever seen a meteor, a shooting star? Or a
Yes.
falling star, which you might call a shooting or falling star, which is actually a meteor, or a bit of space debris coming back to Earth. There's so much space debris around the Earth at the moment. Any of these manned missions have to deal with that.
Right. So depending on the size of it, could crash into them. And it only looks small as a falling star, I'll refer to it as, a shooting star, a falling star. When you wish upon a falling star,
Yep.
you make a wish on it. How big would it be? What would it be? Its
From a
diameter?
grain of sand. It can be from the size of a grain of sand to a rock, left bits of space debris from rocket ships or rocks bigger than your head. They burn up in our atmosphere. Basically, they're just sitting there in space, all this junk, and the Earth's atmosphere hits them, and then they burn up on re-entry. Because you've seen, they just burn up on re-entry, and most times they don't make it down to the Earth. Sometimes they do, but most times they don't. Anything that's that big that could cause major drama, we'll know about a while before. The asteroids pass by us quite regularly, and some of them can be the size of a double-decker bus.
Really?
Right? But they're and you've got to be really careful when you're reading mainstream media because they, what's the word? They dramatize it all.
Yeah.
So they'll say, and lately they've been talking about meteors the size of giraffes or elephants or whales, and sort of like I can't relate to that. I can relate to a double decker bus. You know, a giraffe size meteor would totally. I can't imagine how big a giraffe is. But anyway, so you've got these things, but sometimes they're passing 11 times the distance of us to the moon away from us. So they're not a risk to us. We have this great big rock up there. Do you know, if you took the moon out of the sky and you sat it on Australia, put the top of the moon on Darwin and the bottom on the Great Australian Bight, right? You'd have 150 kilometres on either side of Australia left to spare. That's how small the moon is, or how big Australia is, whichever way you want to look at it.
Right. Okay.
So you have this great big rock that size up there, and you're worried about a double-decker bus-sized rock going 11 times further away than that?
And at a rather fast speed moving.
Yeah, yeah. But so are we moving pretty fast. The Earth's moving. Did you know that the Earth's moving at the equator at 1,600 kilometres an hour? Do you
No,
feel that? Where I am here is about 1,380. Where you are, it's probably more like 1,000. Your
right,
latitude depends on your latitude. Yeah,
right. Okay.
because
Now,
the great circle, the circle around the Earth is smaller where you are than it is where I am, than it is at the equator, because the Earth's a bit of a Blake sphere.
okay. Okay. That's very, very interesting to know that. I don't know. It's